Hello everyone, welcome to New Gen Politics. So this is something that really shows what's wrong with America's priorities right now. Here's an article by Newsweek titled, "Migrants Get Up to 2 Years Free Rent for New Apartments." A new program in Maine will provide asylum seekers with free housing for up to 2 years as cities across the country continue grappling with an influx of migrants. The United States has seen an influx of migrants entering the country in recent months, at times creating new challenges for city officials as they seek to allocate resources for them. Finding homes for migrants has become a key issue, particularly in communities that already have housing shortages. Many have been living in shelters and hotels across the country, but one city in Maine is launching a program to give some migrants free housing. Brunswick, Maine plans to open 60 new apartments for migrants, with 24 of the units already complete, according to local news station WCSH-TV. The units are specifically planned for migrants awaiting their work permits, a process that can take more than a year. The program is led by the Maine State Housing Authority, and according to the news station WGME, the state will help pay for migrants' rent using funds approved by the state legislature. The program has enough funding to pay rent for up to 2 years, but migrants will need to pay 30% of their rent once they find a job. After the 2 years of the program are up, the housing, built by the group Developers Collaborative, will be converted to a mix of market rate and affordable housing unless officials decide they need to extend the program. Dan Brennan, an executive director of the Maine State Housing Authority, told WCSH that the program is a, quote, unique solution to a very exciting opportunity in our state. We have thousands of folks coming to Maine who want to make Maine home. We are doing everything we can to help that situation. Maine, which has about 1.3 million people and has long been viewed as having a housing shortage, has struggled to manage an influx of migrants. City officials in Portland have said that more than 1,600 asylum seekers arrived there last year. So this is what's wrong with America's priorities, is that the people of Maine are struggling with finding housing. And even if they find housing, it's oftentimes incredibly expensive. And so the state government of Maine looks at that and says, let's make the problem even worse. Let's bring in more people and then give them free housing. This is despicable. This is a horrendous policy that is going to affect the lives of thousands of Americans. But in this country, and in states all over this country, we've decided to put migrants, illegal immigrants, who have broken the law above American citizens. Not only do we give them priority, we're using America's tax dollars to pay for it. They said 2 years free rent for these migrants. And who's paying for that? The taxpayers of Maine. And what's happening in the meantime? The housing shortage continues to get worse. And all this is going to do is incentivize more and more migrants to come, because all over the country, you're getting free housing, free medical care, free education, tons of benefits that the average American doesn't get because our country doesn't care about the average American citizen anymore. As I said in this article, they're going to pay for housing for these migrants for 2 years, unless officials decide that they need to extend the program. And what government program doesn't get extended? So this is going to be a problem that probably persists for several years, unless something is done drastically to end this migrant crisis. And this guy, Dan Brennan, the executive director of Maine State Housing Authority, saying that this is a unique solution to a very exciting opportunity in our state. This is not exciting. This is sad. This is sad that's what's happening in the state of Maine. Housing prices are just going to skyrocket as the housing shortage increases. And instead of doing what a government should do, build more houses, create more opportunities for people, instead, all they're doing is making it worse. And they're using the people of Maine to satisfy what they want to do with these migrants. And this is a program I could see extending all over the country, because these cities don't know what to do with these migrants. They're all over the streets because we don't have enough housing. We have a housing shortage in this country in general. And adding millions, tens of millions of people to that doesn't make it better. So my heart goes out to the people of Maine. This is really just a destructive policy. It's going to destroy Maine, I'm sure. It's going to make it unlivable in a lot of cities. The average American is struggling so much financially right now, and our government doesn't seem to care and only does things to make it worse. The rampant inflation we've had, the lack of job opportunities because the government allows us to send them all overseas, the migrant crisis, which is taking people's jobs and housing away. It's already hard enough to survive in this country as an American citizen, to make your bills on time, to not live paycheck to paycheck. And our governments seem to just want to make that worse. It's heart-wrenching. And there's a problem that needs to be stopped. We need to end this migrant crisis. We need to remove these people from this country. They entered illegally. They're causing so much harm. We need to not incentivize people to come here. We need to actively disincentivize them from coming here. This country, it is the United States of America, and its citizens are Americans. That's who we should be putting first, not everybody else, and put Americans last. So please consider this. Look at this problem. Look at this problem that the Biden administration has blown out of proportion. All they've done is made it worse and worse, year over year. Look at your state governments in your cities and what they're doing to make this problem worse. How they're sanctuary states and sanctuary cities encouraging people to come here. Consider this as you go into this election year. This is a problem that does not have an end. No matter how many people you give housing, no matter how many people you give jobs, no matter how many people you give education, it is a never-ending problem if you allow people to come here illegally. And it is a problem that will only make the average American citizen's life worse year over year. So now that you've heard what I think, please let me know what you think down in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.